Great. I'd like to come sharply as possible. If you want to have someone else do Musaf, my Musaf is a little rough, but doesn't really.
No, this is 10 here. Page 170.
I like that. I had a nice day off.
Right.
I was. I was enjoying myself. I watched basketball. I read a book. You guys work. You did not have a Seder.
Well, so far, we don't have anybody joining on Zoom.
Jason was on his way with his son. Jason Rosen.
Oh, okay, good.
Was on his way with his son.
And I saw that there's
Oh,
Who's managing the Zoom?
there's somebody at the gate to let in. Warren.
Oh, he's here?
Oh, he's here. Oh, wait a minute.
No, he's on Zoom. Warren's on Zoom.
Oh, you must be letting on Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It looks like it's on, I just don't know who's running it. I would assume Hector.
I'm assuming Hector too.
well, that's funny. I don't see him on Zoom.
So the only time that the Nusach, it's just gonna be the same Nusach as this morning.
You know, like for repetition of the Amidah. Oh, yeah, like that.
Exactly, and then
There's a Torah reverse.
184, correct?
I'm not dealing with Zoom. I'm just talking.
I'll tell you in 1 second. No, that's Shabbat. Oh, hallelujah. There you go. Exactly. You got it before I did.
Then the Amidah is the weekday melody. The actual Baruch Atah, Hashem Elokeinu v'Elokei Avotinu, like that.
That's fine. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. You can also do in the Nusach for Chag, but
Okay.
So some people have texted to say that they are trying to get on Zoom. They're not here. This must be the wrong one.
okay.
Good.
Hector, it seems like there are people waiting in the waiting room. Do you see that?
They must have gone to a different link.
Or we're on a different link? Hector, are you there?
Hi, Rabbi. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Is there anybody in the waiting room?
No, there's nobody right now.
Okay, so I think we're on the wrong link then. Is this the link that was in the Shabbat bulletin?
This is the one that we use. It says for Minha.
Yeah.
The one we use on for Shabbat. It should be the same one, is it?
Yeah, it should be whatever's in the bulletin.
Let me check the bulletin. I'm gonna check the bulletin right now.
Okay, let's just click whatever the bulletin link is,
Okay.
because I don't actually
Now,
know.
Deborah, somebody figured it out. Deborah Bloom is trying to get in now here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's coming. There's people going in already.
There are people in the waiting room?
There's one now.
There's one right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually meeting.
Well,
right now.
okay, all right, okay.
I see
Now
somebody.
there's another.
There's another one. People are coming in already.
Okay, great, fantastic. People figured it out. Okay.
Do we have a Minyan here now?
Regular Shabbat,
I'm actually meeting.
Well, okay, all right.
it's working with the normal Shabbat, the Shabbat Mincha Mariv link that works for
Another
normal
one.
Shabbat,
People are
is the
coming
one
in
I
already.
got in on.
Okay, everyone's gonna mute, just like we do on every other day. It's lovely to see you all. Sorry for the confusion if there was any. I don't know if there was, but it seems like maybe there was, so I'm sorry about that. We'll get it fixed for the end of Chag. Joey's going to begin. Mike will give directions, and Chag Sameach. Glad to have you.
Okay, we begin on page 170 in Slim Shalom, and looks like 558 in Sim Shalom.
And 214 Lev Shalem.
It's 2:14. Oh, yeah. They meet us there.
Teilat Adonai Daber Pivi, Rekabos Hashim Kushul Vayed, Vanach Yahmeh David Elam, Hallelujah. Masion Goel. V'takadosh Yoshev Til Yisrael, V'karzel Zeh, V'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzol Mechar, Kudo, Kabelim, Tisaini, Ruach, V'chmat, Achar Garash Gadol, Baruch Adonai, Mimekomo. Adonai Moch, Le'olam Vayed, Adonai Moch, Kain Le'olam, 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 Baruch Adonai, Baruch Hu Elohim Shabar Alim Yichvod. Vayibtechu v'chayo de'ei shemecha, kilo azavta d'rosh Adonai, Adonai chafet l'matziko, yagdiu Torah v'yadir. 173 in Slim.
Hatzi Kaddish.
Yikarav Yikarash, Shemeh Rabbah.
Amen.
Kalamadi Rach Kirte, Famich Machateh, Chaychon Yomechon, Chaychon B'Yisrael, Bagal Zman Kari, Vimru, Amen.
Amen.
Hey Shemeh Rabbah Barach, Lelam Lalame, Alemaya. Yiparach Vishabach Viparpur Amit Naseh, Vihadar Vitla Vidalal, Shemeh Kudsha, Berichu. Lelam Mikl Brechata Vishurata, Tish Bechata Nechamata, Damiram Be'alema, Vimru, Amen.
Amen. The Yom Tov Amidah begins on page 586 in Sim Shalom, page 184 in Slim Shalom.
And 306 in Leb Shalem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elhei Avotenu Elhei Avraham Elhei Yitzchak Elhei Yaakov Elhei Sarah Elhei Rivka Elhei Rachel v'Elhei Leah El Hagadol Hagibor Ben Ara El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol v'Zocher Chasei Avot Mevi Goel Udnei B'neihem Aman Shemo Be'ahava Melchzer Fokei Moshiach Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Fokei Tzara Atah Gibor Olam Adonai Mechayim Yitim Atarav Oshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayim Yitim Brachamim Rabim Sumech Nevelim Rofech Leim Matziras Grim Mekayim Matoy Shnei Afar Mecham Chabal Gevrot Umidam Elach Melch Nemit Mechayim Matzmiach Yeshuav Ne'eman Atala Chayim Mitim Baruch atah Adonai Chayim Mitim Hakadosh Shimcha Ba'olam Kashem Shemak Kashim Oto B'Shmei Marom Kakatu B'Yad Nevi'echav Razeh El Zeh V'Yamar Kadosh 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 Anai Tzvot Mechor Tzvodo L'Matam Baruch Yomeru Baruch Kavod Adonai Mimekomo B'Divrei Kodecha Katuv Lemor Yimloch Adonai Le'elam El Ha'ich Zion L'Dor Vador Hallelujah L'Dor Vador Nagid Godlecha L'Netzach Netzachim Kedushat Decha Nakdish B'Shivcha Chal Hinu Pino Le'am Ushalam Vaed Kel Melchel Kadosh Atah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh Atah V'kartanu Mikol Ha'amim Ha'avtanu V'ratita Banu Rumamtanu Mikol Leshonot V'kidashanu V'mitzvotecha V'kiravtanu Makinol V'odatecha Shimcha Gadol Bakadosh Aleinu Karata Batiten Lanu Adonai Eloheinu Behava Modim L'Simcha Chagim Zmanim L'Sason Yom Chag HaMatzot Hazeh Zaman Chiritin Mikra Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Eloheinu V'Elhei Avotenu Ya'alev V'Yavo V'Yagia V'Yarev V'Yarteh V'Yishma V'Yipakeh V'Yizacher Zichronenu V'Yikdoneinu V'Zichron Avotenu V'Zichron Mashiach Ben David Avdecha V'zichron Yerushalayim Yer Kodechecha V'zichron Kol B'Yisrael Lefanecha L'Yislei Tal Tova L'Chein L'Chesed Rachamim L'Chaim L'Shalom B'Yom Chag HaMatzot Hazeh Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu Bo Tova
Amen.
Fuktinu Vo Livracha
Amen.
Moshinu Vo L'Chaim
Amen.
B'dvar Yeshua V'Rachamim Chus V'choni V'Rachim Aleinu V'Oshinu Ki L'Chaninu Ki L'Malchanun V'Rachum Ata V'Asiinu Adonai Eloheinu Birkat Modecha L'Chaim L'Shalom L'Simcha Sason Kasher Atzita V'Amarta L'Varecheinu Eloheinu V'Elhei Avotenu Kadeshinu B'Mitzvotecha V'Tin Chalkin B'Toratecha sabe'enu mituvecha, v'samechenu b'shuatecha, v'tahir libeinu li'obdecha be'emet. V'anchilenu Adonai Eloheinu b'simcha v'sasan moadei kodecha, v'yismechu v'chai Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Kadesh Yisrael v'azemanim.
Amen.
V'ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'yamachai Yisrael v'tpilatam, v'hashevet ha'avodah l'dvir beitecha, u'tpilatam be'avat tekabel baraton, u'til ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. V'techazen aninu b'shubachal Tzion berachamim, Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Machazir techinato l'Tzion.
Amen.
Modim anachnu lach, shatahu Adonai Eloheinu v'avoteinu l'olam va'ed, tzorchayim magin shinu tal l'dor v'dor, yodel lecha u'tapirti l'atecha, achayim ha'misarim bi'adecha, v'yanish motina p'gedol lach, v'yanisecha shebechal yom imanu, v'yanifleu techa v'techa shebechal eid, erev v'avoker v'tohoraim, atuf kil l'chal l'rachamecha, v'merachim kil tam l'chasadecha, me'olam kivinu lach. V'al kolam mitbrak v'gram shimcha makinu tamid l'olam va'ed, v'chol ha'chayim yuducha selah, v'halu shimcha bemet, ha'el shevateinu v'zrateinu selah, Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
atov shimcha l'chanael lehodod.
Amen.
Shalom Rabbi Yisrael Mecha v'al kol yishevei tevel, tasim le'lam ki ato melech adon l'chol shalom, v'tov v'nechel v'rechad Mecha Yisrael b'chol v'chol shabi shlemecha, Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
ha'mevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Amen. Kaddish Shalom.
Ikra v'kra shemech rabah.
Amen.
Galimadi v'rakir teh v'yamlich machu teh v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chaydechol b'Yisrael v'alav izman karivim ru. Amen. Yehei shemech rabah mivarach v'alam l'alam elamaya yitbarach v'shavach v'yipar v'yitram minaseh v'tadar v'yitalevital shemech tekudsha Leila min kol b'chata v'shirata tish b'chata v'nechamata damiram b'elamavim ru. Amen. Tigabal flot Hon de Chol Yisrael, Kodam Avon Divishmaya Vimru.
Amen.
Heshel Amar Bamin Shmaya V'Chaim, Alin V'Kol Yisrael Vimru.
Amen.
Oseh Shalom B'Ramav, Huyaseh Shalom, Alin V'Kol Yisrael Vimru.
Amen. Elena is on page 598 in Sim Shalom, 190 in Slim Shalom.
Alin Shabeach Adon, Hakol, Atigul Alisir, Breshit, Shelo Asan Gui Ha'aratzot, Velo Samanu Kumishpechot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chalkenu Kahem, Vigor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Vanachnu Korim, Umishachavim, Umodim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei Hamelachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Shem Shemayim V'Sidaret, V'ne'emar Haya Adonai L'melech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu Yihyeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad
Mourner's Kaddish.
Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemech rabah
Amen.
V'alemad yivera kiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Yehei shemech rabah mivarach v'alam la'lamei lamaya Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemech kudsha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alema v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
I assume we're going to take a break now so that we don't finish too
It's
soon.
not mine, actually, but it's probably somebody's. Okay, well, we're just gonna stall for a few minutes. We can probably start Mariv around 7:50, I would guess, if we go at a reasonable pace. So we have about 15 minutes.
We could play Stump the Rabbi.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, if we can do, I know that Rabbi Kligfeld and I have done this in the past when we have a few extra minutes. I'm happy to take some questions and answer them if you'd like, or happy to hear like a fun thing that you did over your Seidarim. This is the first year in many that people were able to gather. So if there was like a specific, unique or fun thing that you want to share with us, I'd be happy to hear that as well. Either prompt, or I can just stand here. That's also fine. Oh, Tybal, yes, go ahead. We can't hear you, so it's possible we're not set up to hear you, or you are not unmuted. Okay. Anyone in the room? Anything fun? No one did anything fun at the Seder.
I think it was.
Yeah, Bob.
It was fun to have the Seder.
Yeah.
But I think what was interesting to me is that the amount of discussion that we had. I mean, our second Seder, for a variety of reasons, was not a lot correct.
Yeah.
In many ways. But not to say that any of my stars were correct. But I think that we shifted most of the discussion to but people seemed to be very active in discussing and connecting what was happening in what happens in the Seder and what happens in our lives. And so there was a lot of talk about what happened in Jerusalem that day, what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening all over the world. And I think there was interestingly, well, I think in many ways, we've retreated into ourselves over the last couple of years. There's a greater, very significant sense of us being very aware of the outside and how that affects us. As I mentioned, I really didn't focus on the impact of Shanghai and the COVID until they pushed back the delivery of computers.
Oh, no.
And they didn't say it, but it's pretty clear that that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it's I think that it was interesting that at the same time that people there's a natural tendency to people focus. We saw fewer people we saw were generally people very close to us. But at the same time, very aware of what's happening outside.
Yeah. So just so people on Zoom can know what Bob just said, I'm going to summarize a very beautiful anecdote that he shared, but just this idea that for the past few years, we've really retreated into ourselves. And so we've been so much more aware of the world around us. And so much of the conversation that happened at his Seder was around how we are impacted by that which is happening in the world, similar to the themes of the Seder. And it's interesting, the thing that I was going to share, and it has something to do with that, though I would have never thought it in the same framework. Last night at the community Seder, Rabbi Kligfeld shared a tradition that he does with his family around the line right before Halach Ma'anya. And there's this tradition that he learned from a Moroccan family to take the matzah from your table and to stand with the matzah over somebody's head and say something about them that you admire or that you want them to know you are feeling from their heart to yours. And the idea is that if we were not free, we would not have the ability to do that. And it was extremely powerful. Rabbi Kligfeld first went to this Ukrainian couple who, I don't know if you've all met them, but 2 weeks ago, maybe now 3 weeks ago, this couple was walking down, I think Whitworth, heard us on the field and came onto our campus having just, I believe, arrived in America maybe 2 weeks before from Ukraine, having fled Ukraine. And we invited them to the Seder and they came and they were with us. And understandably so, I mean, really to the point that you just made, really connecting the story of the Exodus to their own lives right now. And then there were many others. Rabbi Kligfeld went over to Rabbi Susan Lemley, and people kind of passed around this plate of matzah to show gratitude and admiration for the people in our community. And it went on for like, I don't know, 20, 25-ish minutes. And it was a very powerful way of connecting back to, I think, this idea of getting back into community and not just retreating into ourselves and those who we're close to, but really acknowledging those who we've been able to be with as the world has kind of continued to open up. Yeah, Tom. Here, why don't you just use this so I don't have to repeat it?
I relate to what both of you said, that in our Seder, at our Sedarim, we often, for years and years and years, we've given prompts, and we give assignments in advance, and we really want to inspire people that you're not just going to be reading the book and singing some songs. We want to hear from you. And sometimes it's challenging, and sometimes even with all that, we do that in order to get people up, but to participate and share of themselves. But we really found at both Sedarim, we didn't really have to do that. That people, and I think it might be because of what the last couple of years have been, that people were so happy to be together and so relieved. And so just to be at a table with this many people, and to be listened to, we're so not used to that it didn't take much prompting for people to go really deep and everything related to parts of the Seder. So I found it happen much more naturally, and maybe we were feeling our freedom, that from what we've had the last couple of years.
I like that that's a common theme. Any others? Tybal, you want to try again?
There's got to be something organically wrong with this.
It worked. Rabbi,
Yes.
and I have two, but I also want to say, but Mike's standing up as if it's time. I put up, because mine was all Zoom because I'm still home, but I did the Rabbi Kligfeld thing you just talked about, and that was the share content virtual background, because those are the three phrases.
Yeah.
So your choice, I'll do the anecdote first. A non-Jewish friend, knowing it was Seder and I was at home, came by without telling us to hang food on our door, including delicious whitefish salad. And it wasn't quite the timing of Elijah going to the door. That would have been so beautiful, but it was just this lovely thing she did because she knew I was home. Mm-hmm. But if you want to play Stump the Rabbi, I will go back to the whole burial Kaddish and Siyum Kaddish being essentially the same, except there's that first little paragraph that you read that was slightly different.
So what's the question?
Why they're the same and what that little paragraph difference is.
Well, the Kaddish are mostly the same, right? Every Kaddish has pieces that are the same, that we say, whether it's the Chasi Kaddish or the Kaddish Shalem or Mourner's Kaddish, with certain things either inserted or taken out. And so when it comes to the Kaddish that I did as part of the Hadran, which is the siyum for a Masechet of Gemara or Mishnah, there are parts in a Hadran for Mishnah that have to do with the reading of the next Masechtot by the rabbis. If you read the Hadran for the Gemara, you get a whole list of Rav Papas. I don't remember them off the top of my head. And I don't have a Gemara near me, I don't think, but they list a bunch of Rav Papa names of that family. So that is even different, right? From Mishnah to Gemara based on the text that we are doing the siyum for. Why are they connected to the Kaddish at burial? I don't know. I think that there is something without learning into the text. So I'm just kind of guessing right this second, but my guess is that similar to Kaddish de Rabbanan, right? Where we are acknowledging the fact that we have the presence of mind to be able to learn and to continue to learn, and that even if we finished something similar to a death, that we have the ability to move on and to do something great with that which we've learned. So this is completely a drash, but just the idea that we would be able to learn from the person's life that we were able to be part of, and then use that as we go out into our lives afterwards. If you want a more factual answer, I'm happy to look that up for you. That's just the Rabbi Schatz drash, without any knowledge of whether or not that's correct. Yeah.
I have a question about matzah. I figure that's on point. We always read that matzah, that they didn't have, that the children of Israel didn't have time, and the reason we have matzah is they had to leave in a hurry, they had to pick everything up and go. Yeah. And I always thought that was the origin of matzah. But it can't be that, because we read that when we had the first Passover, you had the Korban Pesach with matzah and maror. So matzah already had to be pre-existing and a staple of what's going on that was there. Yeah. And so they talk about it's in a hurry creating that way. So it's a double question, like why that midrash there, or why that, not midrash, why the text there saying that? And on top of that, why did they have to hurry? Because they had 15 days notice of what was going on.
We could be eating great bread right now. Yeah. So matzah is... Meaning like the matzah that we eat now was unique? Yeah.
Is that something that was discovered at that time? Is that something that they made? Because that was the alternative.
Right, so I think what I was about to say will answer that question as well. Matzah is just a category of bread, right? So it's just like saying crackers or flatbread or focaccia, right? It's a category of starch, basically, of carbohydrate. So when used as part of the Korban Pesach with the matzah and maror, my guess is that back in the day, though I don't know that this was the case in the time of the Torah, obviously, but I would assume so, that matzah wasn't hard and flat like a cracker. Does anybody know the reason why it's hard and flat like a cracker? Because it's mass produced. That's exactly right. When my brother found that out, he just found it out this year, he was so mad. He was like, why? That makes no sense. But it does make sense, right? If it's being made by a machine, it makes sense that it would be easier for it to be hard and flat and put in a box and last a really long time than be fluffy and tasty. So, yeah. Right. It is totally, but because we've come to a place where, right, like the idea of minhag hamakom becomes the halacha, right? That when you know matzah as something that's flat and dry, now all of a sudden we only associate flat and dry with matzah. So even shmora matzah, yes, is flat and cracker-like. However, if you go to Israel, there's this little hole in the wall place. I'm sure there's others, but this is the one that I went to. On your way to the shuk, if you're walking from Rechavia, it's down a very random street, and they make matzah for like, I don't know, a few weeks before Passover begins, and it's soft matzah because they believe that's actually the authentic matzah. So now I forget the second part of your question.
The second. First,
yeah.
What was matzah wasn't created when the children.
Right. Why the 18 minutes? Right. I mean, why the hurry? So, I think there's so much of the story is symbolized in what we do for the Seder, including matzah. So, was it the case that they really didn't have time for bread to rise? Probably not, but the fact that we eat matzah and it is something that you only have 18 minutes to make, or else it's no longer matzah, it's chametz. It's a good connection to that story. There's no way to factually check whether or not the matzah that we eat today out of a box is the same kind of matzah, soft or not, that they had during that time. But it was not. I do not believe that the matzah as a category was created as part of the Exodus. I think it was always a category of bread product, but the fact that it was easy to make, easy to transport, quick to make, I do think there is something to be said about the speed with which it does need to be made, fits with the story.
One follow.
Yeah. And then we'll do Marif, yeah.
You're starting, they knew that they were going to be going on the 15th.
Yeah.
They knew that as the first.
Mhm.
They had their little lamb,
Mhm,
tent, ready, all up. And yet, the text in the Torah says they didn't have time to prepare.
Mhm.
They had 15 days to prepare.
Right. So the answer to the question is, have you ever traveled with Sandra Braun? No, I think, I mean, the idea of time is something that we could go down a very deep rabbit hole in the Torah in general, right? Yes, calendrically, they had 15 days. Does that mean back then they had 15 days? I don't know. I mean, I would assume that it's the same kind of 15 days that we have now, but I just don't know. My guess is that when you are packing up a life, I mean, seriously, we could ask this couple that just came from Ukraine. My assumption is that when you have to leave in a hurry, even if you have 15 days, which feels longer than hours, obviously, you still feel like you don't have enough time to pack everything or have enough to go with you. So I don't know a good answer to that because it's not it's not something factual that we can look up in terms of how they categorize time. So all we can go off of is the idea that they were in a hurry, and that must have meant that they were trying to take that which was important to them. Yeah, Mike.
Well, first of all, I think that the bread has to be made as it is, because otherwise it would be ridiculous to take something soft, fluffy, and delicious and call it the bread of affliction.
It's also true.
So it really needs to conform to what we call it, for one thing. And the other comment I was going to make is that the matzah, and I understand particularly the shmura matzah, is probably the only product where the cardboard box in which it comes tastes better than the product in it.
Yeah.
It's always
Okay, Joey's going to share something quickly, and then we'll do Mariv.
Here's the mic, put people on Zoom.
Sure.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so when Rabbi Schatz was mentioning the way the matzah was mass produced, how it looks, well, this reminded me of a funny story, kind of bittersweet, but funny at the same time, where my mom and I were cleaning out my bubby's kitchen, and we found Nafikomen in the pantry that had been hidden some 30 years earlier. Wow. The matzah looked exactly the same. Yeah.
It's probably very tasty.
Yeah, I bet. I'll never forget that.
That's a very funny story. Was there someone leading Mariv?
Bob, would you like to lead?
Do you want to lead? Okay.
All right. Heads up, everybody, that in the Amidah, no longer
You haven't led in a
Shiva
long
Ruach.
time,
We change V'tein Tal to V'tein Bracha and add the paragraph in the Amidah for going out of the Chag. 5 minutes. All right, we begin on page 200 in Sim Shalom, 137 in Slim Shalom.
והוא רחום מכפר ולא ישחית והרפא להשיב אפו לעירכו חמתו אדוני אשר המלך יעננו ויעם קוראנו ברוך הוא אדוני המברך ברוך אדוני המברך לעולם ועד. מעביר יום ולילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני שפוט שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב הרבים. עברת למד ועבדתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל לעד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. Adonai Elohechem Amen V'Makazon. Malchuto b'ratzon kiblu alehem Moshe u'Miriam uvnei Yisrael achanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam. Michamocha belim Adonai Michamocha nara b'kodesh nati lo tosefel malchutacha ruvanecha b'kayim lifnei Moshe ze'elianu v'yamru. Adonai imloch olam va'ev v'ne'amar kifar Adonai et Yaakov v'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai ga'al Yisrael. V'shmotetenu v'enu l'chaim v'shalom me'ata v'yad olam baruch atah Adonai shomer amo Yisrael la'ad. Baruch Adonai olam amen v'amen. Baruch Adonai Baruch. Ki amalchut shachachi ilme atimloch bechavod ki en lanu melech ela ata baruch atah Adonai hamelech bechvado tamid imloch v'lener le'olam va'evel kol ma'asav v'kada v'kada shmei rabba v'amad divra kirutei v'amlech malchut v'chayechoni v'mechonu chayitechol beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yesh me Rambam v'rach le'lama me amaya yiparach v'yishtapach v'yipar v'yitruam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitnaleh v'yitalash medikadasha brichu le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tishbacha v'nechamata damiram b'yama v'yimru amen.
Page 210 in Sim Shalom, 142 in Slim Shalom, the Amidah. Page 149, Kaddish Aleim.
Kaddish Aleim. ויקרא ויקרא שמי רבה, בימד דברי ומלך מלכותי וחייכוני ומכונים חייתך בישראל, בגלה וזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. שמי רב רח לעולם ומאמיה, יפרח וישמח ויפר וירמה וינשא ויתתר וידלה ודלה שמי קדושה, בריחו מכל ברכתה ושירתה תברכתה ונחמתה דברם בימה ויאמרו אמן. תקבל סלם ודהון דכל ישראל כאן בהון דשמי ויאמרו אמן. שלום רבי בן שמי וחיים עלינו וכל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. ועשה שלום בן רב יעשה שלום עלינו וכל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Page 163 in Slim Shalom. Slim Shalom.
עלינו שבח לאדון הכל, ואנחנו קוראים ככתוב בתורתך נמלך לעולם ונאמר והידענו מלך כל הארץ ביום ההיא אחד ושמו אחד.
Mourner's Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ויעמד דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ובימיכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יברך לעולם עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה תאמירם בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרמה והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Amen.
Should we count the Omer?
Is it time? I don't know what time it is. 8:03, a little early, not much.
Is that 8:03 in the bulletin?
Pretty short. It shows up on my.
You want me to do Havdalah first?
Yeah, do Havdalah first.
Okay.
Then Kaddish.
Okay. It's a very quick Havdalah. We don't do Me'orei Ha'esh because we're coming out of a festival, not out of Shabbat. So we're just going to do Borei Pri Hagafen and then Hamavdil. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lechol ben or lechoshech ben Yisrael le'amim ben yom hashvi'i le'sheshet yamei hamaseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh lechol.
Amen. Sunday was day one of the Omer.
You want me to do it, or Bob, do you want to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hineni muchanim zuman, hineni muchanim zuman, hineni muchanim zuman, lekayem mitzvot aseh, lekayem mitzvot aseh. Shel sfirat haomer, hineni mochan umzuman, kemo shekatuv batorah, hineni mochan umzuman. וספרתם לכם ממחרת השבת מיום אביכם ותאמר תנופה 7 שבתות תמימות תהיינה עד ממחרת השבת השביעית תספרו 50 יום ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו מצוותיו וציוונו על ספירת העומר היום שני ימים לעומר.
Today is the second day of the Omer.
Moed Tov, everyone.
Erev Tov, everybody. Yisher Koach to Joey and to Bob for davening, to Rabbi Schatz for counting the Omer and for Kiddush, and for Havdalah, rather. And we daven tomorrow morning and each morning through Thursday at 7:15, and in the evening, 7 o'clock.
Seder last night, they gave an explanation, but
You're welcome. Thank you.
provides a very interesting explanation, which is that the Israelites didn't know they were leaving. They just were told to do the priestly sacrifice. Moshe was told they were leaving, but the Israelites were never told. So if we look at Bo, in all the previous
¿Ya terminó, Juanito?
Ya terminó.